Howdy people, thanks for coming in. I'm going to be showing you here my smart fitness model for those that haven't seen it before. Ignore this other chart, that's just personal data relevant to me. Feel free to have a look in your own time, but try and focus what I'm talking about, which is going to be this area here on the chart. So as you can see on the chart, there's two lines. There's a red line that represents our physiology and a green line that represents our intuition. So many people see age as a barrier. And I can understand that because we always see people in their 20s and 30s hitting their physical prowess when we potentially have those higher energy levels, we look good, and certainly in world-class athletics and other elite sport, we typically see athletes in their 20s and 30s medaling. However, what we're also seeing more and more of, particularly over the last decade, is athletes in their late 30s and 40s still in the mix, still winning gold medals, and still proving to all of us that age actually is no barrier. And if we're looking after our bodies and boxing clever with our training, and by that what I mean is abiding by the scientific principles of progressive overload, supercompensation, and allowing the recovery when it's required between seasons and during the seasons, we can actually hit optimal performance later in life, even when our bodies might not be any longer in their prime. And by prime I mean at a time where they can reach their physiological peak potential as indicated in this example. But because of our intuition, our knowledge, our wisdom, potentially intrinsically, or through coaches and mentors that are around us, that are supporting us on our fitness journey, or whatever it is, we can actually start achieving these peaks later in life. So, age is not a barrier. Age is something that should be looked at as a positive thing. The older we get, the more we understand ourselves. Potentially, the more we understand our sport if we've been in that sport throughout life. And if we're choosing the right coaches, the right mentors, the right trainers, the right people that are involved in the process with us, the more likely we are to have this later life, higher intuition to be able to hit that optimal performance. We are seeing it in lots of sports now. Some examples, endurance athletes. So we've got likes of Jan Frodeno. In the past we had Chrissy Wellington, all Ironman endurance events. There are plenty of marathon runners, elite ultra runners that are competing in their late 30s, 40s and beyond. And they're still hitting world records, gold medaling and winning prestigious events. Even in gymnastics, a sport that used to be seen as a young person's sport, so girls and boys in their teens, becoming into their 20s, still competing at the highest level, we're now seeing gymnasts in their 30s because they now know how to train properly, how to look after their bodies, because we have the sports science available to us and the right coaches and mentors to ensure that athletes are no longer flogged to death at an early age when they can hit their potential physiology, but we're now ensuring that we get the longevity out of ourselves, out of our athletes. A great example that one of my old friends that I served with out in the Gulf many years ago also highlighted to me that in the United States, where lots of athletes through college programs do typically get hammered early on in their careers, which means that they potentially can't hit later peaks of fitness late in life. So some athletes that actually come to a sport having never done it, so taking it up maybe in their 30s or 40s, because they don't have the wear and tear on their joints historically, or the rest of their musculoskeletal system, because they don't have that fatigue, other issues that have come up through poor health and poor health choices early on in age, and they've managed to maintain good well-being, you can even start a sport and do well at a high level later on in your life. There's a famous Indian runner, can't remember his name off the top of the head, but in retirement he took up marathon running, and then at age 70 he broke the world record, a sub 3 hour marathon, age 70. There are individuals out there that are proving to us, as I said, that age is no barrier whatsoever. And even myself, in my 40th year, am proving to my younger self you know what? You weren't as fit as you could have been, because I'm fitter now than ever. Do not see age as a barrier. Whatever your past is, does not necessarily negatively impact on your future when it comes to physical and even mental prowess. Think long and hard and see what you can achieve by adapting and instilling the right training intensities, the right mix of sessions, and above all, by appreciating that by having more and more knowledge of how to train, of how to look after yourself, how to maintain good positive well-being. Think about my peak performance pentagram, the big 6, and the other information I put out there to help you habitualise positively and create good systems that all intersect to make you a more informed athlete. You will see that actually there is always lots that can be gained. Train smart, be awesome. See you soon.